Okay, so this is a 10-day follow-up with the Manicurist Green Flash, this company. So today we're going to remove it and redo it. So I put the matte regular nail polish top coat, and we're gonna see how it looks underneath. So actually, before we go further, there was a couple chips here, but other than that, the polish looks really nice and thin. There was no bumps, nothing like that. So quite good, I have to say. Yeah, for 10 days, I would say it's good. Okay, so let's just remove a couple nails. I'm curious if underneath is going to be shiny. It's not, that's interesting. Maybe because I'm removing this with regular nail polish remover. Just curious, we put the matte top coat on top of it. It is kind of shiny, but not a huge difference. Okay, anyway, so we're gonna remove it with their special remover, and I had few people asking me if, because the removal will be much better than anything else that I've seen, to be honest with you, if this is some special remover that is making this removal so good, but not really. This remover probably works the best just with this system, and the system itself is easy to remove. So it's not the remover that makes such a huge difference, it's the actual system. So I don't have it in a pump, but I want to make sure that this is really saturated. Pump would be better. And oops. And the clips can be used with this, I think. That's what they show. Actually, a little bit more. The clear clips are a little bit better because you can see if you moved the cotton away from the nail. So the system came with these clips. I have these ones. I like them a little bit better. I have a link in the description box for the clear ones. Okay, this is gonna take a while. So let's just even time and see how long this is going to take us. Because it's not just the removal time, but the actual application of the remover pads. Yeah, the pump would be much better. I just have to wait until I use up some of the products to use the pump. Okay. If you're doing this yourself, it's better to, okay, this is more difficult, to do one hand at a time. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult to work with one hand already with the product clips on. So the one hand, wait. Now they're saying a couple minutes, that it takes 2 minutes. I think at the beginning, earlier they were saying it takes 1 minute, the removal. Is it okay, or is it? Yeah, you want to make sure that it doesn't move the pad away from the nail, because then it's not going to remove properly. You have to have a fully saturated pad on top of the nail. I have to say the remover smells really, really good. It's perfumey. It smells like perfume. Okay, so now, so this took me about 2 minutes, so let's just wait another minute, let's see, and let's see how the removal is. Okay, so this is like just over 2 minutes, and not just over a minute. Let's, haha, wow. So there is a little bit of base coat left. Let's see one. This is amazing. So there is a little bit of base coat left, so I'm going to grab saturated little pad, and the base coat comes off very easy, just like a regular polish, so just kind of scrub it. Yeah, this is really good. Really cool. This is the best. Someone was asking where I get these little scrubbies, and I don't have a source. I brought them from Canada, a whole bunch of them, where I got them at one of our suppliers. So I don't know where to get more, sadly. They're nice because they are, they have some texture. So for removal of even like the last bits of nail polish, or for base coats like that, it's really, really good. So the remover is really nice. Like, it's not very drying. It's not very oily either, I have to say. It's nice. Let's leave the thumb, because usually thumbs take a little bit longer to come off. So it's been, I would say, like 9 minutes now. So I would say it takes like 10 minutes to remove it. Like the whole removal process, not just the actual waiting for the product to soak off. I would say that's really, really good. I really like the removal process. Okay, so we are going to redo this manicure with the same product. Okay, so we're going to shorten the nails. I have my filter on. By the way, this is, I had some people ask, this is the Nova Flare T1 with the HEPA pad or something. So it's additional pad that you can buy, additional option. Love it. Such a good buy. I think they are about, here in Europe, they are about 800 euros or something like that. But you can also get them in the States and in Canada from Glam Up Nails. a company in Canada, and they sell these filters, and they are certified for the use in the States in Canada. So they have to be, like, I don't know, inspected or something. So it's all done correctly and right, and absolutely recommend the filters. They're the best. They're very, very quiet. Really good. Really, really good. You can't compare anything to this. Like, none of these tabletop filters, they can't compare. They have few versions of these filters. Some of them have two filters. This one has one, because I don't do gels really. I do just natural nails, so I'm not dealing with this much dust, so I don't need like a heavy duty one. This one is plenty, but there are options for people that do more gels or acrylics. Just like that. I actually bought this one from Germany, and it came pre-installed because I bought the tabletop as well. So it came pre-installed. Very, very good shipping, excellent, very, very well done. I would highly recommend them. I probably could have shortened these with electric file, but I didn't, so I'll just finish on my hand. Some people were asking me what the white spots are. So the white spots are a surface damage, and strangely that happens with shellac for some people, but it also happens with regular nail polish. And I don't know why it happens, because the damage is not very deep, so the nails are not really that damaged. It's just the top of the nails is kind of like flaky, and the white spots are like little flakes, like little blisters that are dry. Because I know some people come back with major surface damage and nails really overfiled and thin, and with different brands of gel polish, and they don't have white spots. So it's not necessarily the more white spots, the more damage, but it just looks really bad. So, I mean, I love shellac, how it removes and how it wears, but the white spots are an issue sometimes. And it happens very often when people have some nails like chipping. So if they go too long between appointments, that's why I recommend having their nails done bi-weekly, so every 2 weeks, and have the appointments pre-booked usually. Because when people wait to the last minute, they usually go then 3 weeks, and by the time they book an appointment and actually come in, they then come back with like sometimes major chipping or nails missing. So, well, the product missing from the nails, and from that area that the polish has chipped, that area usually turns like white. Like the white spots are then more visible on damaged surface. So it's best to try to avoid any chip. But it looks like there was no more white spots. So basically the ones that we had last time, I'm gonna probably put a picture up so you guys can compare. So this nail looks like the damage is growing out, which is good. There was nothing else forming, so that's interesting. And also one of our viewers was asking to compare this green flash from Manicurist to Vinolax, and which also is a 10-day wear. I guess Vinolax probably is a 7-day wear they were advertising. So comparing this to Vinolax and comparing this to SC Gel Couture. So I might try it, but the SC Gel Couture does not have like a pure black. because it's the best to compare on the same nails, right? Because when you have different people, then you would have different outcomes very often. So I might be able to find something that's I think actually they have a black. I have to look for it. Do they, guys? Do you know? That's a joke, sure. So we'll try it. And now they have a matte top coat. So hey, maybe we should do that. And then also Vinylax. But Vinylax, I had a black and it wasn't even that old. And it kind of went lumpy. And it was the new formula as well, so I don't know. That was very sad. Although the application is very good of the black from Vinylax. Okay, so now we're going to do the manicure, and I've explained this many times about the proximal nail fold versus cuticle. So now I'm pushing back the proximal nail fold, which is living skin. So this is all up here, living skin. The cuticle is the white stuff that's left behind. So I'm gonna push the living skin out of the way so I can remove the cuticle, and I'm going to do this with e-file. I'll do this very gently. And the reason why I use e-file, because especially before any type of gel polish, I find it's best to do the manicure dry. You can, if you're doing this yourself, then you can definitely use a cuticle remover and do like a traditional manicure, but then I would wait a good hour or two before applying the polish, just so the nail had some time to dry from the water, because, or from the solvent or water as well. So you want to make sure that the surface of the nail is dry. And when you use cuticle removers, you definitely have to leave them on the skin for at least a minute or two, and that's when they absorb a lot of the nail absorbs a lot of the water, and then you have to rinse them. So what to do when that skin around the nails is dry? Well, for sure, you can't fix dry skin by filing it. You have to put creams on, and I talk about this very often. I recommend urea-based creams because urea actually is also exfoliating. So it does a very good job in keeping the skin really nice and flexible, exfoliated, and really good looking. So I'm using electric file on a very low speed. This is actually 7,000 RPM, very low. And I think sometimes the RPMs, I don't know, they should be consistent obviously, but I don't think they are always. Because sometimes other files, I would put them on 7,000 and they feel slower sometimes, so I don't know. You have to go by the sound. So very light little taps to remove this cuticle. And soften this hard skin. I'm going to grab it this way, pull the skin back. There's a flake right here, so I'm going to file it off. Because if the gel polish sticks to the flake and the flake flakes off, we're going to have a chip. You can see here that this is basically like a flake that if I filed into it I would remove it, but I don't want to file it. Probably it's going to come off by itself with the next manicure, and because it's in the middle, we'll see if the buffer will gently buff it off. Even out the surface a little bit, and that's it. Very lightly, just going to make sure that the surface is even. And you always want to do this as little as you can. You just don't want the nails shiny, that's it. And I usually concentrate on just the free edge to make sure that it's smooth, and on the new growth. So where I just removed the cuticle to make sure there was no little catches. But I don't go filing the whole surface because you will overfile the nail. And the nail only has so many layers, and you don't want to be removing the layers because you're weakening the nail. There's a tiny piece of base coat here. Not a big deal. So just got it with the buffer. There's a little piece of cuticle here. cuticle here. So now I'm going to wipe the nails really well with 99% alcohol. Make sure they're nice and clean, there's no dust left behind. The nails and the free edge and underneath. Just gotta make sure that this area is a little cleaner. Onto the application. Okay, base coat. First, I'm shaking the color to make sure that the pigment is well distributed. To turn off the fan because the fan is drying the polish a little bit too quickly. So you want to gel polish. Apply a pretty thin coat, but making sure that it's covering the nail properly. It really feels, this product feels like a regular polish, but you really want to make sure that you don't apply it too thick, especially the color, because the color is not going to cure, so you need like a more pressure when you're applying it. I would suggest, if you're doing your own nails, doing one hand, doing everything, base coat, colors, and top coat, curing it, finishing, and then doing the other hand, because otherwise it's gonna be a little messy. This product has the lamp has 3 buttons, and I highly suggest using a lamp that goes with the system to lower the risk of allergic reactions, because they can still happen if the product is not cured properly. But we definitely want to make sure that we avoid the allergic reactions, because once they happen, unfortunately you're allergic for life to these products. And the allergies happened not necessarily, although also because of bad products, it's just because improper cure and people not really understanding how these products cure. So these products will harden, so they will look dry when they're 50% cured. You need them cured fully, like up to, let's say, 90% for them to not be allergenic. So, and the reason why is because when you remove the product, that's when you get exposed to the uncured product. So that's not necessarily touching the skin during the application, but the uncured product is going to soak into your skin when you are removing the product, or it's going to, when you file off the product, it's going to end up on your skin as well. So you definitely want to make sure that that product is cured properly and it's not reactive anymore. Otherwise, it's just going to take time. For some people it's sooner, for some people it's later, but it's happening a lot, allergic reactions. Okay. Switch. Okay. You always want to make sure that you clean off the neck or the stem of the brush, the stem, to make sure that the polish is not dripping onto the brush when you're polishing. The brushes are so-so, they're a little, this one is not the best. It's a little wide and uneven on the end. And because the product sets up so fast, you don't really have time to kind of perfect the application too much, so you have to be fast with it. The good thing is that when it sets up, it's not moving anymore, so you can do all 5 nails at the same time without flash curing. I think you should sell replacement brushes to at least make sure that you can, in case you get a wonky one, you can replace it. Because especially with the gel polish, with regular polish too, but it's gel polish especially, you want to make sure that the borders are nice and even, and they're not touching the skin, because if polish touches the skin, it's going to peel from that area because it doesn't create a good seal. And the reason why I'm showing, see how this is setting up already? The reason why I'm showing this in real time is because very often people speed up the videos, or they just usually speed them up, and that is not very helpful when you're trying to kind of learn and train your eye to how to polish nails. Especially with dark colors, don't try to cover everything perfectly in the first coat. It's a little bit awkward here under trying to fit under the camera. The second coat is going to cover it covers very well. For painting other people's nails, this bottle is fine. But for polishing your own nails, I could see this being problematic because you can knock it over very, very easily when it's sitting on a table. So, I mean, they look nice, but for your own nails, this might be problematic. starting to get a little bit thicker in polish around the neck of the bottle. They also sell thinner, so oops, I should buy it next time and see. I've used this bottle I think 4 times now. It's black color. So because it's drying so quickly, obviously it's drying in the bottle as well. Always make sure that you close the bottles really well and that the bottle, the threads are not dirty with polish, because if they're dirty with polish, then the bottle is not going to seal properly. So always make sure that this area is clean. And if something drips, you remove it right away. But it will do. I wish they actually put a top coat like with bigger letters instead of the sugarcane and cotton and corn, which I don't know why this is on the label, because it's not in the product. The top coat has much better brush. Going to put a little dot. It's very easy to touch the thumbs and these lamps. Top coat is not the easiest to control. I have to figure out, get the feel for it. Eventually it will happen. It's just that it's a little bit thin. It's definitely thinner than shellac, and you want to put enough that it covers the nail in one dip, but as you can see, it's a little bit easy to overdo it. Because if you don't put enough, you're gonna get streaks. So you need like a perfect amount on a brush. But this time the top coat is going to cover it. And unfortunately the lamp is pretty slippery and it moves on the table, so it happens. Easy. under the lamp, you always want to make sure that your fingers are nice and flat, that they're not bent, because if they're bent, then the ends are not curing. So they always have to be like really nice and flat, so the light exposes the product really well. So with this lamp being open a little bit on, well, open on the other end, at least you can see how the fingers are positioned. But the bad thing is that you can by accident expose some of the product and cure it, or your brushes or something like that. So this is a no wipe top coat, but we don't want shiny nails, we want matte nails. So we're going to apply this product, Sally Hansen. And in the end result, you're gonna see that the nails are not as matte as we want to, because when you apply oil, they get a little bit more shiny, unfortunately. And as you wear them, they become a little bit less matte as well, I find. And this dries very quickly. It's just one coat of polish. It's probably a minute. Okay, we're gonna let them dry for another minute. Więc najlepsze do tego produktu.